I'm just doing a follow-up video. Um, so the last video I put out with the Willwood unboxing, um, that came out kind of botched. I don't know why, but there was a bit of a follow-up at the very end of the video, and for some reason YouTube just blacked it out. It may have been YouTube, it may have been my editing software. I don't use very expensive software for editing. But I guess I wanted to take the time to introduce myself. I've talked a lot about the car, I've talked a lot about parts, superchargers, Merc racing. That and what I meant to do with my follow-up video yesterday, which is really talk about some exciting stuff that's going on in my life, in my friend's life. So let's just start off with me. Who am I? I'm just a car guy, like a lot of you guys who got into a car and you can't really afford to buy an M3 or some upper level, upper echelon type of car, and Hondas are cheap, relatively speaking. Let me check this real quick. Alright, nothing to worry about here. Hondas are cheap, relatively speaking, and so I got into the Honda scene because it's obviously what I could afford. I've owned EGs, EKs, EP3s. My most involved car was an Acura RSX Type S, which that car was super modified. It got to a point where I removed the air conditioning, and I'm recording this on a really hot day. It's about 90 degrees outside. There's a breeze, but I'm still sweating bullets just sitting around here. And it's hard to imagine that I would do that again on a car that I drive on a daily basis. But that's kind of what happens when you get into modifying cars. You get into this car is a good daily driver, but but it's comfortable enough for me even if I still remove this, or even if I still remove that. At one point I removed the power steering, and that was harsh. The car had some very fat tires, and it wasn't like driving my old EK coupe where the tires were skinny. The car didn't weigh very much. But anyway, so more about me is basically I've had some rough years in the past. Let's say 2018 was very rough. 2017 was bad. 2018 was even worse. 2019 things finally turned around, and I found some new employment. Things became more stable for me and my family. I have a wife and 3 kids, and after getting such a big relief for so many years of struggles, that's kind of how I ended up with the orange Honda Civic. And anyone wondering about why do I go by Reese's? Well, originally the show was called Reese's Pieces because the car's orange, Reese's, whatever. You get it, right? So like I said, I finally needed some sort of moment, when you're just like, oh shit, things are finally turning out for me, and what I did was, I took a break, I took a vacation. Even my new employer was like, hey man, you're working your ass off, thanks, but take a break, take a vacation, and so I did. I went to South Carolina, and if you want to see more about that story, there's another video. I'll probably link it in the comments about how silly it was for me to end up with this car when I didn't plan for it. I didn't even plan for it. I just said fuck it and go for it. So that's a bit about how the car came about, and that tells you a lot about me. I'm very impulsive, and I make a decision, and I just don't look back. So kind of like switching jobs after having a very stable job for 15 years. I just said, you know what, I've had enough. Let's change it up, and I took a chance, and it paid off. And if you're in a situation where like you think you just have to keep turning the wheel like a hamster, sometimes you just gotta like get out of there and make a change in your life, because change is good. Change is sometimes very difficult, but change is good. Even just having, for example, new co-workers to me, people to get excited about getting to know them and getting to understand their quirks, and that right there takes you out of your mindset, out of your everyday, like, you know, clocking in, clocking out. I know this person's gonna eat lunch at this time, that person's gonna eat lunch at that time. So anyway, and enough about that. So why did I start making YouTube videos? I made a YouTube video a while ago, and I was encouraged by this guy Signal Evolved. He goes by Signal Evolved on YouTube. He does have an Instagram account, doesn't use it very much, Black Asian. We do live streams every now and then, and he's like, dude, you gotta do the videos, man. There's not a lot of information on the 9th gen Civics. There's not a lot of information here. Like, you could be helping someone. And I'm just like, well, you know, I've done this before. You know, I kind of want to just do the car thing for me, you know, and just enjoy it. And so far, I've gotten a little bit better with YouTube. There's a little bit of, you know, things I need to change, but as you can understand, things cost money. A decent camera will set you back $700. Then you got to talk about sound, microphone, and all this stuff, and it can sort of spiral out of control, and you're just like, what am I doing this for? But I guess all in all, I hope I am helping someone. I hope that my videos, for example, my unboxing videos, my install videos, do help some people. And you know, especially this one, if you see the car right here, let me get this wheel out of the way. The car right here is sitting on jacks. It's got massive brakes installed. I don't know if you can see it from all the way there, but I got the Wheelwood kit halfway installed, and it's been sitting like this for 4 days for a reason. I'll talk about that on my next video, I think, or the one after that. But you know, I try to go as in depth as possible. There's a few videos that I wish I had like a head strap for my GoPro so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but it's not rocket science. You could just, you know, figure some of the stuff out. If you're into the hobby bad enough, you will eventually figure things out, because you're doing things that no mechanic really is trained to do. When you're taking, for example, a 2-piece rotor, and you have to put some safety wire through each of the bolts holding the 2 pieces together, you bring that stuff to mechanic, they'll be like, fuck you, you know, like, I can install brakes, but I'm not gonna do some 2-piece custom rotor for you. And that's before you get to a supercharger kit. I've heard stories of Jose from Merc Racing. He said, Barry, I have shops call me and say, well, how do you put this tensioner together? It's 2 bolts, man. 2 bolts, bam, tensioner goes into place. And then you just, because they don't have a diagram of the belt, they can't figure out how to route the belt somehow. That's mind-boggling. I mean, that means that people are trained to do something, and if it's outside of their normalcy, their realm of possibility, then it becomes a huge challenge. So my best advice to you is, like, if you're getting into the hobby, start doing shit yourself. Find a car buddy, find a mechanic, and just do all the research in the world. And I don't do a lot of Facebook groups. I do more about a forum. I guess I'm old school, that's the way I am. I find that it's easier to document things there. It's easier to find things there if they are actually there. And long story short is, you know, the Facebook groups are good, especially for the younger generation. I had a question recently, and people just responded very quickly with information. Not a lot of asshole stuff, which I appreciate and everything. But so right now, I'll talk a little bit about what's going on this week. And this week, kind of an exciting week. I really hope to get these brakes done today or tomorrow. I don't think the parts are coming in today. The brake lines is what I need. So if they're here tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this brake kit, finish the video. Hopefully I'm not in too much of a rush so I don't slap it all together all, messed up or whatever. But once this brake kit is done, I am going to go Wednesday to Innovative Motorworks. It's Derek Robinson's shop. If you haven't heard of him, you should look him up. Very good guy, awesome tuner. One of Jose's customers is going there. Signal the wall. I'll put his link again in the description. He's got basically the same work racing kit that I have, only he's got a bigger blower. He's got a 1900, which is 1.9 liter big. Mine is 1.3 liters. So he's doing that. He's doing E85, smaller pulley, more boost, all on a stock motor. So that's really ballsy, because we don't know what the limit of the stock motor is on a supercharger. The CT kits don't really push very hard. I think the most you see out of those things is something like close to 300 ponies on high boost. I really haven't seen anyone doing high boost on a CT kit. If you know anyone, hit them up, add them to the comments, because I'm really curious how these motors do compared to like our own motors in the RSXs, the K20 motors. But Signal, he's pushing it. E85 will probably keep things a little bit safer, obviously make a ton more power. I think it's going to be somewhere around the 475 wheel horsepower range, but man, like 19 psi, it's ballsy. That's what I'm going to say. It's real ballsy. And this is kind of what I love about this community. He's doing it because he obviously wants to, but no one else in our 9th gen community has pushed that much boost through the stock motor. I think there's a few boosted turbo guys that did something like 18 psi, but I didn't find anything about them running it consistently, running it daily, driving it for long periods of time at that boost level. So anyway, I'm sorry for the long rambling video, but I tried to do this video like 300 times already. I tried to attach it to the end of the last video. Obviously it didn't work. So I figured today I'd share an extra video with you, which I had not planned on doing because today is my birthday. And yeah, come back, subscribe, hit the likes, go and check out Signal's channel. I'll link it right here, and we should have a lot more exciting stuff coming up this very week. Peace.